words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. I want to tell you a story about a boy named Daniel this morning. Daniel grew up in Romania, a country far from here, and he slept in a funny way. See, Daniel slept while sitting up. He didn't do it because he wanted to or because it felt good. He did it because he had to share his small bed with another boy. See, Daniel was very poor and an orphan, so he wasn't allowed to have his own bed. As Daniel got older, he never missed his parents. That's because he didn't know what parents were. There were older people around, but Daniel never knew their names. They would feed him and clean him, but they never talked to him. Daniel didn't go to school and couldn't tell you how he passed the time. Sometimes other children would leave the orphanage where he lived, but he never thought about it much. That's how it went for him for 7.5 years. Then one day, a woman in the United States got a magazine in the mail. On the cover was a picture of Daniel. And right then, the woman knew that this boy was going to be her son. Her name was Heidi, and her husband's name was Rick. They got on an airplane and flew to Romania to meet Daniel. When they arrived, they saw a dark-haired boy dancing in the airport. Right away, they knew they had made the right choice in adopting Daniel. Back home, it felt right for some time. Daniel would dance and play and work on his English. Sometimes he had tantrums, and sometimes he would cry. But things were working out. They were working out, that is, until March. March was Daniel's birthday. Daniel had never celebrated a birthday before, and once he understood that he had real parents that didn't celebrate his birthday, Daniel became very angry. He was so angry he started hating his adoptive parents. He threw everything in his room and put 1,000 holes in the wall. His parents had to take everything out of his room except his mattress. They took Daniel to doctors to find out what was happening because sometimes Daniel would hurt his mother, and he was happy about it. But Daniel's mother didn't give up. She found out Daniel had something called attachment disorder. He couldn't relate to what his mom and dad were feeling. So Heidi helped her son by never being away from him. She had to treat him like a baby because Daniel never had a mother before. Everywhere she went, he went too. They spent a lot of time just looking into each other's eyes, just like a baby and her mother would. When Daniel didn't do what he was supposed to do, his punishment was to be even closer. He had to hug his mother. After about 3 weeks, Daniel says he realized his mother wasn't as bad as he thought. He even started to like her more. When Daniel turned 13, his treatment got very intense. Every night, Heidi and Rick had to put their just then teenage son in their lap and cradle him, just like a baby. They had to bribe him to do this, to sit on their lap, by promising to spoon-feed him ice cream every evening. That's when Daniel was finally able to talk about his feelings. He slowly got better, helping around the house and making friends his own age. That's when the church called Heidi. When Daniel was younger, he had to be removed from church by police. At one point, he was told he wasn't allowed to go back to church. But when he was older, they finally let him take confirmation class. By the end of the sessions, he became head of his class. And he was given the highest honor of the group. On Confirmation Sunday, he was allowed to make the closing speech before the whole church. On stage, Daniel told his story. He said, "I spent my first half of my childhood in an orphanage in Romania, so for those years I had no family, no love, no fun, no music, no toys." He shared about the struggles of his early life, and when he got to the end, he began to shake. He was struggling to keep his voice under control. Then this. "Before I finish, I'd like to thank two people, my mom and dad. The reason that I'm here today and the kind of person I am today is because of you. Mom, I can never thank you enough. Dad, you're one heck of a guy to put up with a crazy family like this. And you guys are both amazing. I love you so very much." Heidi says, without a doubt, it was the most spectacular moment of her life. That's Daniel's story. But I think it's a lot like God's story too. God calls me and you his children. He loves all of us so much that he sent Jesus to be with us. But our anger and hate was like Daniel's. We hurt the people around us and put holes in the walls of our homes. We had darkness in our hearts. God had the right to hurt us back and tell us we were evil and wrong, but that's not what he did. Instead, he was like Daniel's mother. God said he would never give up on us. God said he would forgive us for all of those things and do whatever it took to help us attach ourselves rightly to him. God held us in his arms, stared into our eyes, and said, "I love you." The Easter story is about the triumph of love. It is the story of God conquering evil and restoring us to him. It is the story of God's faithfulness to all generations, seeking attachment, seeking a loving relationship that ends with the most spectacular moment of our lives, a perfect love between God and his children. It's such great love, it's almost too much to believe. Amen?